I just start off with I am Benjamin Beecham, Benjamin S. Beecham, as that is the title. A lot of these slides are meant to be gifts, but they don't quite work on this particular version of PowerPoint, so they might just play through once. But it's the presentation will interference, it's sort of subtitled in version overload, and that become apparent as to why. I do issue a small flashing warning. If any of you have photosensitive epilepsy, this presentation might agree with you, just to put it lightly.
Hold on a second.
Oh, that's not good stuff, is it? There we go. That's going to do a thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, crap. Forgot about that. I've got a sketchbook which I'm going to pass around, because amongst all the other things I do, I draw. And you might as well just have a look at this. I'm not really going to talk about them. So, sketchbook. Again, things that I'm bit today. That's a thing I did in the Zoetrope workshop. Yeah, on my foundation, I did some stuff, but I mean, it's not really worth talking about. So straight into year one. Bit of a manic year. Again, I didn't really like a lot of the stuff I did, but this piece was kind of fun. This is, scanned my face, as you do, naturally, when you're left around in the library for too long. And had a picture of myself on my phone. And, well, it's kind of about digital media and social relationships and that sort of thing. But, yeah. I'll get to that. I didn't really like lots of the university, and as you know, university is just kind of make things and hope for the best. And I did a few things which I really liked, including dressing up in frames, projecting light from, well, getting people to look at the phones, take pictures of them. Nicole's face.
That's my face.
It is indeed. And then standing awkwardly close to people while still wearing blindfolds and documenting it photographically. And then this, I took loads of people's pictures off Facebook, collaged them together, and then painted a big Facebook symbol all over the top. A bit obvious, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. But over the Christmas and first year, I couldn't really do much, so I just took some pictures of my TV back home and then played around with the pictures a bit. And I kind of set in motion more of the sort of stuff I've done the rest of the course, really. And again, flashing warning. I ended up making this sort of GIF thing where I was watching, well, it was a video, but I'm not showing videos, I'm just showing GIFs. But this computer is struggling. I broke up a lot in this presentation, so you might see double. That's not just because I've got a lazy eye, because that's the wrong way around. That's you looking, not me. This thing is meant to flash through frames, but due to the slightly, I think this was crafted at the dawn of creation, this computer, because I can't think of any other reason why it couldn't play again. It's the GIFs I'm going to work, which is a little bit anticlimactic. At the end of first year, which was kind of the start of second year, I guess, I did this performance at the Sainsbury's Centre, where I sat on a chair and got two people stuck either side of me and had a TV in front of me just displaying static, and I kind of openly invited people to come and sit next to me, because I was just sat there for 3 hours watching static, not really making any noise. And that was quite a successful piece, because it was sort of quite a nice demonstration of this sort of sustained engagement and banality. I did some more work with that, where I sort of re-photographed the images from the camera, and this sort of better idea of the setup. In amongst the main collection, that was part of the Young Associates thing. And then moving on to year two, this is a weird image. It's a macro shot of an image projected through a camera lens onto my hand, using the camera lens as a camera obscura. And the image is kind of a slightly jokey distortion of an image to make it look kind of glitch of my friend in a club. Because he sent me a message saying, is it a faux pas to Photoshop the other person out of the picture, because I look really nice in it and have it as my display picture. So I kind of ran with that. But yeah, I did a lot of this kind of macro photography, and then tried to think of things to do with it. Couldn't really think of much to do with it. I ended up reprocessing sort of video imagery of a photo shoot I did with a friend, as Ed Burton's before. It comes up a lot. It's got a very distinct rectangular head and very small ears. It will appear. Yeah, and I reprocessed that sort of imagery, amongst other things. And then this, I was on top of the Roman Catholic Cathedral, as you do, taking some pictures. And then I sort of loaded those on my computer and rephotographed them and sort of magnified them. So we created this sort of CCTV aesthetic, which used to make a video called Optima, which I did another presentation about. Great times. Didn't go with the time limit at all. And then this, I reprocessed some imagery until it was just kind of flickering pixels and displayed it on all the computers in the Media Lab, which was quite good fun. Whilst in second year, in first year I did a few exhibitions, second year I did a few more. And this one, it was my first attempt to kind of organise the one with my peer there. I displayed this piece, which was like a 2-panel flickering video thing. It sort of worked. The second frame showed all the generated frames from the first image sequence, which was just a video driving along, which I then sort of stretched out. And then got it to digitally generate bits in between, and then that just showed the bits that were generated in between, but inverted. And that piece was the series of images from the previous thing. And remember, guys, with Chris up there, they were very small, they just pick him up. Something quite important about exhibitions, I tell you, is you need lots of food, otherwise people don't stay about. It's not the whole heart of the thing, but people need to be sustained with looking at lots of different stuff. And having a veritable buffet of different delights. We had homemade things, bought things. It was terrific. Gorged myself. But yeah, that was quite a successful one. We got loads of people telling me. But to be fair, I wasn't too happy with how my work was displayed there. I was more happy with how it had been documented and organised. My work was kind of a footnote on the whole thing. We had some stills from the video, the drive video, which I had to play around with, which will come up in a second. Trying different ways to figure out how to display things. So I did this workshop with Mark Ariel Wallace, which if you get an opportunity to do any of these sort of workshops with visiting artists, do them because they're useful. So working with Mark Ariel Wallace is quite interesting because it's a slow-paced activity, it's very thought-provoking. And here we culminated in doing this exhibition called Project G, which is just a project backwards. And I did this tiny little projection in the project room, which was projected through a magnifying glass. It made it even smaller. But the thing I displayed was a circuit board I'd taken a picture of, and then I'd used Photoshop to generate bits of the imagery. So I just sort of drew around it and used the content-aware film to sort of generate more circuit boards. I had this kind of circuit board growing and then disappearing into green. And then I sort of projected it, refilmed it, going through lenses and projecting it, do that a couple of times over. So you get this sort of over-attention to details that aren't really there, which is pleasing, but it kind of plays on the idea that attention itself is a magnifying glass, which is something I think Baudrillard said, but it's one of those bees, Baudrillard, Bachelard, that sort of person. And this is one of the things I did with the drive video, and I thought it would be quite good to show this slide because I'm standing in front of it again doing a presentation about it. And I kind of like the idea of repeating processes to get something more out of it. Because by presenting a thing about a thing, it's no longer just a video of driving along through Leeds. It's something else. It's more to do with medium, the format, and the way of presenting information. Because I'm kind of crap at presenting work. I'm really bad at that sort of thing. I like making stuff and fiddling and playing around with techniques, but actually showing it, not really my area of expertise. I'm kind of interested in media, but I do like doing things practically as well. Because in this, I made kind of a clever video, which you can just about see here, which I'll show you on a slide of, sort of bigger image of that in a second. Where I got, this was for First Light in Colchester, which was an opportunity to do for the uni, you probably know about it in second year. And it was kind of a chance to do something really site-specific. We went around and reviewed the place, and there was this big blackboard, which was, well, you can see the size of it, it was big. And then I wanted to do something about Colchester, but because I don't really know much about Colchester, besides like one of the oldest histories and oldest cities in Britain, usually the capital and that sort of thing. But I thought I'd consult Google, so I took every image from Google of Colchester, photographed it on the screen, which then sort of pixelated it and things, but also drew attention to the fact that I was looking at it on Google, not in real life, or not my images, and then sort of processed them and scrambled them and multi-layered them and stretched them out and took an image sequence of non-linear images, turned it into a video, which was then stretched out. So it became sort of pseudo-linear and then laid it up. So it sort of had some continuity in as much as the interview was all regarding Colchester, sort of. But 888 dislocated images don't necessarily a linear video make. But then from that, I displayed a little iPad, which displayed this lovely little stand, which Christoph, I think, she found. And then from that, I drew and a number of other people who were, some of them were involved in the exhibition, some of them were passers-by, people visiting the gallery. Because it was kind of a non-gallery space in a gallery. And then from that, they did this big, we did this big drawing, which is just kind of automatic drawing based on the video. So trying to make quick notes of what was going down. Like, right there, you can sort of see there's a bit of a person coming through. But then by the end of it, that person's dissolved into a wiry mess or anything else, which kind of nicely reflects the imagery that featured, but also produced something quite new. To steal the sort of thing that was happening there. Yeah, like 10 minutes. So, really long day. When I said about not great at displaying work, this is an attempt to show photography. I've done this a few times before, by just kind of printing them off and sticking them up. But when you've got kind of images that have been repressed and things, and then they get stuck on walls, they look a bit flat and a bit bland. But I still think this was a relatively successful exhibition, because again, lots of people turned up. Didn't have any food, but loads of wine. Alternatives to lots of food, lots of wine, even better, both. Bread, wine. But yeah, this was done through someone at UVA who's doing art history, and we just kind of got in contact over email, which was, okay, a little bit chaotic. It was at the Stew Gallery, which is kind of nice. I had something at the Stew before, but I think you showed up, and 2 other people showed up, and nobody else really did. So somebody had to drink on the rosé, which was fun. Yeah, but for this, just kind of had the images showing, again, well, it's okay. I mean, lots of people turned up and we saw the images. It's the optical images, again, so it's these sort of magnified images from the cathedral that Aztec was kind of panopticon, godlike, big brothery aesthetic, which is kind of fun. But speaking of nonsense, I also kind of do slightly silly stuff in my spare time. It does sort of feature in my work, including some of these sort of mini motions. I won't talk about them too extensively. But mostly people will put up images and I think this would be fun to play with. I ended up writing like an essay about this thing. I ended up writing about 4,000 words on dragons and memetics and how cultural ideas can be passed through generations. It's a strange day. Yeah, and occasionally I do things like this, which will pop up and then disappear, and nobody will really care. But they're quite fun to do. It's just mild chaos. Yeah, it's really it's a bit chaotic, as you can tell by my voice now fluctuating between pitches. This is the end of second year, this sort of little double screen display. It's been happening throughout years, and sometimes I think I just need a whole room of computers to myself. Yeah, but to start things off, I did this exhibition with a couple of people here, it was organised by Nick and some others, where I made this scrambly video thing, which was taking faces and sort of wobbling them and then stabilising them, taking images from them and generating, processing the hell out of them. Which I displayed on a tablet, and you may recognise some people. Which I displayed on a little CRT monitor with some speakers, but also on a tablet, which can then be passed around. So it's this video that moved geographically, and you're interacting with it, and it kind of popped up this thing saying share, so you're physically sharing with people. We made soup, which is kind of, I'm not going to go into that. Somebody else is going to do. This is meant to be a GIF again. I don't think it's going to work. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I took to kind of documenting exhibitions. I spent a lot of third year just documenting stuff. There's an image of it on the tablet. Other events that happened as part of that participation exhibition. I think I've got like 2 minutes left, so I'm going to go even faster now. This is again meant to be a GIF, which is what the original video was based on. Which now, yeah, sort of stuttering along, I'm blaming technology, I always do. Yeah, and then this, well that was just getting more stabilised images. This, I had a kind of a small archive of pictures of graves on my computer, and then combinated them into that, which I then used to make a video, which I then tried displaying on fake grass, on the back of fake grass samples, and then having it so it was like a tombstone. I had this figure, I still don't really know what to do with it. It's really green, but I thought about playing around with that man running around in it. That is again meant to animate, but I'm just going to skip past it because it just kind of it's slightly pleasing. Come on! Come on!
just slowing. Even time has stopped. Time itself has stopped. Yeah, I try and do a lot of things. Quite often I overface myself. And this, again, is meant to animate, but I think hell will open up from below. Yeah, it does. This was some images taken from Google Street View of the M1 just outside Milton Keynes. Essentially the most boring bit of road near the most boring town on 200 miles of traffic. Which I then took pictures of and rephotographed the good stuff because we're kind of skipping down the road so they're stretched and lit easily. And then I loaded them into this photo stitching thing and then you just sort of generate this. And this kind of animates along, so it goes and kind of does that thing. And I multi-layered that, made a video out of it. That was one of the few pieces Victoria liked at my last project, which is nice. Okay, it's getting there. I did some 3D sculpting at the end of last unit because I thought it would be fun. I did like a 15-minute workshop on it, so I thought I'd have a go at it. Over Christmas, I took lots of pictures of things around my house. There's loads of photo frames, and we have a cool fire and some other stuff. We also have quite a lot of mirrors in my house, and this was meant to be a nice little GIF showing all the mirrors in my house. But you know what? I've got this strange feeling it's not going to work. I don't know about you, no previous experience based on there. That's meant to whiz through, hasn't worked. It shows like 30. But yeah, academia. That's the inside of my retina, by the way, just so you get an idea. I kind of like to read a lot, and I've got doing a dissertation on the information overlay, which I think is fitting. I have quite an active blog, and there's links to that on here, this will be uploaded at some point. I do other bits of writing, but I really like engaging in discussions, usually slightly less manic. Yeah, see, it's got to do a thing. Doesn't really work on here. And that's a video of me scrolling through a dissertation draft to give you a sense of idea of my drafting process. I thought, you know what, that might be fun. Yeah, 10,000 words, and I wrote 16,000, so I had to get it down by like 7,000 in about 4 days. I was not in a good state of mind by the end of it. I do artist research and things, but usually it's just kind of binges of going to galleries and stuff. Went to Norwich, didn't go to London every now and then, went to Berlin last year. I watch a lot of stuff on the internet, non-art stuff, and also through my college students. And this is a heat I stay out, and then I need to research more, but just to give you an idea of a selection of stuff that I look at. And there's some Paul Sharrett in there, and Stella Ark, and Dan Page, who the guest talk and crops up my dissertation. I was quite adamant about having myself on social media, and that's the only work I'm reflecting on Tumblr. I'm on WordPress, Flickr, pleasing transitions, YouTube, more videos, Vimeo, slightly more selection of videos, and also on SoundCloud, where you can listen to sound art and music. I was doing stuff trying to do outside extra stuff. I'm a third-year rep. I'm head of the Drawing Society, Associate with Film Society, and New Music Society events. I'm a library assistant, student ambassador. I go to this thing called Food Cycle, and they also take pictures of exhibitions, which is what this sort of thing is. I document other people's stuff. This is pink for some reason, which is quite nice. The top image and a few others ended up in the EVP, which was kind of fun. And my great plans are mice and men and things planned to do in the future. I've got a degree to sort out. Not really sure what I'm doing, to be honest. I've got a dissertation to finish, pretty much done. I'm applying for an MA in Media and Cultural Politics at EA. That's a statement, it's not fun. And more exhibitions and writing and stuff to be done in the future. And I think we're at the end. Yeah, it's from a blog and a recent picture of things. And to end it as a gift from The Simpsons. There you go. And that's kind of everything, sort of.